Topic that we are going to study today is barriers to effective communication. When we speak the term barrier, it means any factor that prevents message to be transmitted or delivered or received. Any factor that prevents a message to be delivered or received. हम बोलते हैं barriers to communication. Yeah, simply we call them communication barriers. There are multiple reasons in the communication barriers. We'll talk about them individually and we'll try to understand them. The barriers can exist, the failure can exist in communication process. For example, the method chosen might be inappropriate. And if the method chosen is inappropriate, for example, the message contained details of technical language or a flow diagram trying to explain those over a mobile phone, it could not be delivered. But it won't be possible to understand a flow chart on the through voice channels. Long details and verbal messages. If we send long details through voice messages or through a telephone call, it will be forgotten easily. If the message is incomplete or it's having misleading information. This will also be a problem because if incomplete message, it means the actual communication won't be delivered. Or if misleading information, for example, you want to be delivered a product today and you write it, send it tomorrow. So it will be a misleading information. The supplier will send tomorrow, but you will be in need of that product today. A wrong message, wrong communication, failure as a result. Excessive use of technical language. For example, usage of too many jargons. Jargons are the technical words related to any language. For example, we economists speak FOPs, balance of payment, or things like that, or inflationary pressure or inflationary gap. This won't be understood by a common person. So message won't be delivered to him. So usage of jargons usually creates misunderstanding sometimes. And sometimes message sent to branches or employees in other country may not be understood because too much local language is being used in the message, and we forget that they are in the other country and they won't understand too much local language. Channel of communication is too long. Chain of command is too long. I asked Mohsen to deliver a message to Burhan. Burhan asks deliver to someone else and someone else to someone else, and chain goes on and goes on. So the channel of communication is too long. The message will be misleading by the end of the chain. when it will reach to the last receiver of the message, the whole message might have been changed. The problem becomes significantly important in large organization where the chain of command is too big or too large. Another problem with the that results in the failure of communication is the poor attitude of sender or receiver. If the sender is not trusted, your seniors already told you the new business teacher that is coming to teach you is not a good teacher. So you won't listen him properly. If the sender is not trusted because he has delivered a wrong message before, or because he has miscommunicated something before, your level of trust will be low. So you won't be you won't be able to listen to that person properly and understand him properly. If sender is not trusted, communication will be failed. Unmotivated workers will become poor receivers. They are unmotivated because of any reason. For example, they are not having good salaries and they are unmotivated. They are not good listeners. They won't listen to you properly. You are explaining to them a new company policy and they are not listening at all. How the communication will be delivered? Intermediaries are poorly motivated. Intermediaries are the people in the chain of command who are delivering your message to the next person. So they receive it in a bad way. They receive it while being demotivated. So they won't deliver your message to the next party or the next people. Sender has a poor opinion about the receiver. उसको पता है कि receiver ने बात ध्यान से सुननी ही नहीं है. जैसे मैं क्लास पढ़ा रहा हूँ और मुझे लगे कोई स्टूडेंट बस ऐसे ही है, ओके, मेरी उनके बारे में ओपिनियन बहुत ही पुअर है, तो मैं जाहिर है मैं भी फिर प्रॉपरली उन्हें नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा. So communication won't be delivered. The third type of barriers are created by physical reasons. Physical reasons such as noise, as we were having yesterday. तो बहुत noisy factories होती हैं. If anyone of you, I don't remember if someone of you have been visit to factory with me, so you might have noticed when engineers are speaking, we cannot listen to them properly because इतना शोर होता है कि उनकी आवाज हम तक पहुंच ही नहीं पाती. तो in noisy factories, the communication cannot be delivered. सुनता ही नहीं अगले बंदे को. Second, the geographical distance also create problem. Although modern electronic methods have reduced this problem through video conferencing, but still the geographical distance creates some problems in the communication and it creates some barriers over there. Now, how we can overcome these communication barriers? We can ensure 6 steps are followed totally. We can ensure that the message is clear and precise. हमें इंफॉर्मेशन ओवरलोड से बचना चाहिए. Second, we can keep the communication channel short as possible. We should always ensure that feedback is part of the communication process. So two-way communication is more effective always. Ensure that channel of communications that are being used are well understood by the people involved. And this becomes particularly important in today's IT world when channel of communication are becoming more modern, more IT equipped, that they are understood and they all the listeners and all the receivers are capable of using them in a proper way. It also establish a trust between the sender and the listener, receiver. You might have noticed when a new teacher comes to school, to your class, usually sometimes coordinator or principal comes along with him and he introduces him or her in a better way. This is a very good teacher. We have hunted him from the market because it's already difficult. It was already difficult to find out a good teacher, etc., etc. So he admires him, so that a relationship of trust must be established between you and teacher. And when he speaks, you must listen to him properly. We also must make sure that the physical reasons are good for the communication. There is no noise, there is no much distance, the speaker can be heard properly. Physical reasons are good enough for communication, for speaker to speak and for listener to hear.